So let's get started with some basic fundamentals. I'll tell you a little story about search engine optimization. And, well, it's a personal story, so here it is. I'm not much of a sports fan, or chef for that matter, but once a year on Super Bowl Sunday, I watch the game and make chili. Nobody ever eats the chili but me, because it usually doesn't come out very well. But one year, I resolved to make chili that my wife would actually eat too. There used to be this little restaurant in Venice Beach called 72 Market Street. And it's not there anymore, but they had a recipe on the menu called Kick-Ass Chili. Pardon my language, that was the name of the dish, Kick-Ass Chili. And so I said to my wife, if I can make the Kick-Ass Chili from 72 Market Street, will you eat that? And she said, if you can make the Kick-Ass Chili from 72 Market Street, I'll eat it. So she said, head on over to latimes.com. I know that they had published the recipe years ago in the paper before the restaurant closed. So I went over to latimes.com. Now, I may be a half-baked sports fan and a mediocre chef, but I'm hell on wheels with the search engine. And I couldn't, for the life of me, find the recipe. I was searching backwards and forwards every way I could think, and I could not find the recipe anywhere. So I went on over to Google Advanced Search, and with some different complex queries, I did find the article. It was under the headline, Almost Angus. Now, Almost Angus may have worked in print with a sidebar with ingredients and a picture of a guy stirring a pot, but remember, when you're trying to find information on Google, all you have to go on is raw text. So I figured I would do a little test. I'd take the recipe and I'd write a blog post about my experience, and I'd search engine optimize that blog post for Kick-Ass Chili. And I'd see if after a short period of time, my blog actually outranked the once mighty LA Times. It seemed like a really sad story to me because the Los Angeles Times has been in bankruptcy a number of times. They've really been struggling. And here they had an opportunity to get in front of me with their archival content if they just search engine optimized it before they migrated it online. But because they didn't do that, I couldn't find the story. You think about how marketers try to get in front of audiences. You think about something like outdoor advertising, billboards, right? You're driving by a billboard on the freeway at 65 miles an hour. What's the likelihood that you're actually going to notice it and make a purchase from that company? But here I was, jumping up and down, raising my hand, begging for content that I know the Los Angeles Times has in their archives, but because they never search engine optimized it, I couldn't find it. And they could, of course, served that to me with an advertising impression. So while other advertisers may have been defecting to Google and Craigslist and eBay and Groupon, they had a chance to be relevant again if they just had been addressing search. It was almost as if they had this warehouse full of great products, but you couldn't find them, right? They had this warehouse of archival content that was basically locked in these ineffective containers that I couldn't get to. Now, I don't suggest that search engine optimization will fix all the LA Times or the news media's woes for that matter. You still got to have interesting content that engages people. But the notion that here was a newspaper with all this great archival content, if they just search engine optimized their archives, they would have so much more inventory to sell to advertisers, and they weren't doing it. It just seemed kind of stupid to me. Now, I did find the recipe, and I did make the chili, and I thought it came out great, but my wife said it was too spicy. But either way, if you search Kick-Ass Chili today, my little blog outranks the once mighty Los Angeles Times. It's really a shame because every great city needs a great newspaper. But what good is great news if you can't find it? So what we're going to talk about here is not searching for customers, but making it easy for customers to search for you.